Greetings everyone and welcome to the Tortoise Realm. Today I will be showcasing a deck here I made with a bunch of cards that I opened up, and I think it's a cool deck. I'll just show like combos that it has and just some interactions that you can do with the board. There's not many, I don't know if there's many interactions, but there's a lot of combos. But yeah, let's get to it. So first I'll go over the site base. Here I have two dark towers, two gothic towers, three lone towers, three autumn rivers, three summer rivers, and two spring rivers. Now the varying numbers with some of them, or amounts of them, there is a reason for that. It has to do with not having certain sites, and I will get to that in a bit. But really, if I had like three lighthouses, then I would take out a gothic tower, and if I had another observatory, then I would take out an autumn river, because you don't really need like three of all of these, just two, one of three. You'd actually probably need three of one of the towers, because there's more air in the deck, but you'll see that shortly. So there is no real strategic advantage to the tadpole pool other than the art. I just like the frogs, but you can use these as blockers if you can get the Genesis ability going. The Cloud City works well with the Avatar, I think, personally, because it makes it mobile a bit initially, for a certain amount of time, depending on the board state and how wild it can get. But I think it's cool. I think it's cool to have in there. The observatory is a good way to be able to see what to be able to plan ahead. So that's why having two observatories would be good, because then you're more likely to draw into an observatory. And then also the rivers, good way of siphoning through your spells to get to what you need. And yeah, so that's kind of, and also having that extra mana initially, or being able to get extra mana on your turn with the towers, which is very good. And yeah, so now next I think I'll get into the artifacts next. So here are the artifacts. It's not really that many. Even with some of the ones I am missing, it's still not that many. But I think having these are fine for now. So there's an aquamarine core, just maybe initially if you get this on your first hand, you got that extra mana boost. Then you have devil's eggs, I'll cover these. I'll cover these after these. So yeah, these right here, the mixed aqua, the mixed air, you just get that nice mana boost to excel your game plan. Realistically though, you'd want to have two of these, and then of course the not the air core, I forget what it's called, the amethyst core. Yeah, you'd want to have an amethyst core. So I mean there's that, but it's not really that big of a deal, because most of the spells are like under 3 mana, three or under, and you're never really gonna need like more than 4 or 5 sites out in the field, but I'll show you that shortly. Now here are 2 devil's eggs and a screaming skull. The screaming skull, here I'll go ahead and reveal, the sorcerer is really good with the battle mage, because you can, when you kill an enemy with the battle mage, you get to draw a spell. But also if it has screaming skull on it, it untaps, so you can keep doing that and clearing away, and also ending out with dealing some damage to your opponent. The devil's egg is also pretty good, if you can get it on there and get your battle mage into enemy territory, you can drop it somewhere, and they'll have 2 problems, your battle mage and this, so that'll kind of stretch their movement, and they won't be able to do as much, not unless they have spells that can get rid of this or move your battle mage from their territory, you can cause some issues. And now I will move on to the air part of the deck. So here's the air part of the deck, and I forgot to mention something with the artifacts here. Or relics, my bad. Relics is the Screaming Skull. You'd probably want to have another one in the deck since it's an elite, so you have a higher chance of drawing it, so you can have it onto your so you can apply it to your battle mage. But there's that. That's something I forgot to say. So now for the air part of the deck, here we have I have some Sling Pixies, some Apprentice Wizards, Spire Liches, a Moon Clan Werewolf, Grapple Shot, a Lightning Bolt, and an Occult Ritual. The Occult Ritual I don't really think is necessary, but I mean it can be helpful if you're in a tight spot. The Grapple Shot here, you can use this, you can apply this in many ways, and I'll be able to expand on that a little bit later once I kind of show some different ways of using the deck. But you could use this Grapple Shot with the Battle Mage to get it somewhere on the board. Since it's not attacking, it's just striking, so that's a free kill possibly, even with the Screaming Skull. So when it kills an enemy, you know, it untaps, but it wouldn't even tap in that instance, so I don't think that matters. But the Moon Clan Werewolf is actually really helpful. You would want to have 3 of these since they're exceptional, because there are a few mortals in this deck, and you'll most likely have a mortal on the battlefield. So Apprentice Wizard here is a mortal. It's a good draw engine. Well, not an engine, but you know, you get a nice draw off of it. It's also a spellcaster. You can cast spells with it. The Spire Lich is definitely needed in this deck because you're going to have towers. So you're initially going to have a tower as well to use. So if you have one of this in your first hand and you have a tower, you definitely want to get that out because it's an easy +3, it's an easy 3 minion, and it has ranged as well, so you can kind of push back some of your enemies' creatures and kill them off if you need. The Sling Pixies, nice way to ping stuff, be a blocker or an attacker if you got space to do that. Lightning Bolt, good way to get rid of stuff or do some damage to your opponent. You can have 3 or 4, because since there is no max limit to cards you can have in your deck, you could have more of these. But if you want to if you want to be more likely to draw into certain stuff, kind of want to keep it within a certain number. So this is a 40 card. The spell deck is a 40 card deck. Forgot to mention that there's only 40 cards exactly. And there's only 20 cards exactly in the site deck. Forgot to mention that earlier. So I'll go ahead and move on into the water portion of the deck. So here's the water portion of the deck. You have some Finvale Muses, just 2. You have some Porcupine Pufferfish, Swan Maidens, Polar Bears, Blink, which is a very, I'd say a vital kind of card, very important piece to the deck. Polymorph, very helpful, and you have Ice Lance. Ice Lance, I should probably have more in this deck. Probably one more added. But this right here is like the winning piece. Because you don't need to be close to deal the final blow. So this card you would want to use at like when your opponent's at death's door. So you definitely want to save that if you draw one. Polar Bears is a very good card to do some initial damage or to even get those devil's eggs initially onto the other side. Also good for blocking or attacking. And then Swan Maiden is also a good way to get the devil's egg onto the other side or block or attack. Since it is airborne, it's almost not untouchable, but it's less likely to get hit as long as you just move and not attack with it. The Porcupine Pufferfish, there's a funny combo. I'll go ahead and just go over that combo. You can use a Grapple Shot with the porcupine pufferfish, and you can kill a pretty large minion since it has lethal, and without it dying, since it's going to be striking the enemy, not attacking it, which is great. And it doesn't tap, so you can go ahead, kill a big minion that they have, that your opponent has, as long as it's in place and nothing's in the way. And then you can also, if you need to, go ahead and go for an attack into another minion, another large minion that's on the ground. So I think that's pretty cool. So having 3 grapple shots, and 3 of these, you know, if you need to use a grapple shot once or twice with it, you know, that's helpful. And blink is very good for making your battle mage mobile, because you're going to need to get sights so you're not closed off. So if you have a blink and you need to draw, or you need to play a sight so you can have or be able to cast more spells, but at the same time you want to get your battle mage closer to enemy territory so you can start wreaking havoc, you can blink this. You can do what you need to do, but then blink it and you get a card draw. So you know, it's a bonus in a way. It's pretty good in my opinion. The Finvale Muse. Oh yeah, so the Finvale Muse, it's there as a spellcaster. You know, if you cast a spell from it, any spell really, anything, you can get, you know, you can tap into the rivers, so you can start siphoning through your deck, so you can get to what you need, or you can see what you have, and then maybe blink or cast a Apprentice Wizard so you can get that draw, and then possibly cast what you drew. And then also, since it's immortal and the Swan Maidens are mortals as well, your opponent, they won't really know they won't know what's in your hand. So if you do get a Moon Clan Werewolf and you have that in hand, it's definitely more powerful than a Finvale Muse. So that's an upgrade. So you can sacrifice it, and then you have a Moon Clan Werewolf. Of course, you'd want to get this Finvale Muse closer to wherever you're where you're trying to get it to. Be more strategic, and then go ahead and sack it. Get that nice werewolf, which is an upgrade from a Finvale Muse. Or if you need to do it with Swan Maidens, you can, or an Apprentice Wizard, which in a way that's also an upgrade. No, I'd say that's a definite upgrade. Polymorph, good way to just take out something, a nearby minion. You know, it doesn't, and it's regardless if it's flying or underground, or burrowed, or how powerful it is, it just turns it into a frog token. So, you know, that's awesome. So I guess now I will start showing off just an ideal board state, or what you can do with a board state in a hand. So I'll just go ahead and organize some stuff here, and I'll be right back. Alrighty, so I went ahead and shuffled up both of the decks. Here I'll go ahead and do a shuffle just so you know, like, I'm not tampering with anything. So you can see like a raw hand, like what it'll look like possibly. And I'll do this a few times and go through like the first 2 turns. Since the first 2 turns nothing like crazy is exactly happening, so board interactions between both opponents, you know, it won't be like super significant. They're just, you know, playing sites so they can start doing stuff. So there you go. So 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. All right. So here we have. Okay, this is good. Yeah. So this is a somewhat ideal hand. You have a blink, so that's some draw right there. Then you have a Porcupine Pufferfish, good for defense, keeping, you know, the enemy at bay, or just, you know, taking something out, trading. Anything goes. So let's say it's your first turn, or you start the turn. Go ahead and tap. You're going to want to play this lighthouse here. Get that water out. Then you can go ahead and cast your Porcupine Pufferfish. Then it would be the next person's turn. They do whatever. Then it's back to you. You would probably, let's see here. You pretty much, yeah, you would have 3 mana on this turn. If you play this, then you would have 4 mana on the next turn. But you can get that draw, so what I would do here is I would go ahead and draw a spell just to see what I can get. Another polymorph, okay. I'd go ahead and tap that Battle Mage there. Play this Lone Tower. Then I would blink the Battle Mage over there. Can get that card draw. You got a Grapple Shot, okay. So then that's the second turn. Third turn, so then on the opponent's second turn, you'd most likely connect. And this is where things would get interesting. So on your turn now, you could draw a sight, which is probably what you would want to draw, since that's what you need. Oh, cool, Autumn River, okay. So now, you could go ahead, play that Autumn River, see what you can get. Okay, Finvale Muse, would that benefit? I would say so. Yeah, I would say so. Then you can go ahead and you would want to leave this here, because if they were to attack your site, you can, you'd have a defender there. Battle Mage, of course, well, you couldn't do anything with the Battle Mage. So you haven't cast anything yet. You wouldn't want to use, you'd want to save the polymorphs. Really, you would want to do nothing on the third turn, and with this sort of hand. So then on the fourth turn, let's see what you would draw. There'd probably be some sort of interaction that would occur, but let's see what would happen if you draw a spell. Oh, well, yeah, the Finvale Muse. At that point, really, if they were to cast like if they were to cast a creature that would be an issue, you could take care of it on this turn and polymorph it, and then that's that. But before doing that, you'd probably want to do the Finvale Muse, polymorph something. So let's say it's right here. You could polymorph it into the Frog token, using this as the spellcaster, since it says nearby, and that's within a radius of this. So then you could see, you could use that river. Cool. It's a lightning bolt. Keep that on top because that'll be helpful. Then you can attack that Frog token or wherever it's at. It'd probably be here. You could attack that. You can get that draw. Then you'll have something for next turn. So that's kind of what it's like. Of course, you can move this, advance this to here, so then you can defend wherever, or specifically here. So I'll go ahead and shuffle up again and see what our new hand will be looking like. Alrighty, so I have shuffled everything, and let's see what our new hand's looking like. Alright, Occult Ritual, Porcupine Pufferfish. Alright, this is cool. This is good. So this right here is fine. The Occult Ritual, you probably you don't really need it. So I would just go under. Let's see here. Polar Bears. Okay, this is cool. This is good. Alrighty, so it's your initial turn. Go ahead and play that river. And then you could cast, or let's go ahead and do the river trigger. So another Porcupine Pufferfish. I would say you could go ahead and put that under. So you already have one, and then you have Polar Bears. Would you want to cast it? Sure, yeah. You can go ahead and cast it. So yeah, you can cast it because then on your next turn, you're gonna be able to cast the Polar Bears and mix air. So then your next turn, let's go for another spell. Okay, cool. So now you can go ahead and play your sight. You got 3 mana now. You can go ahead and cast Mixed Air. And then you can go ahead and go for the polar bears. Right here, you could move this porcupine pufferfish right here. Then go ahead and move to your next turn. So we'll say that the 2 boards are now connected. You would go ahead and draw another spell, another grapple shot. So let's see here. So I'm not sure if I would have used a grapple shot here, if it would just hit my porcupine pufferfish. I'm still not like super well versed on the rules, so I'll have to check with that. But I'm pretty sure there's somebody watching who knows how that would work. So since I don't know how that would work, let's see. I would go ahead and move my battle mage right here. Go ahead and attack with the polar bears there. Get some damage in. Then whatever's right here, I could grapple shot into it. Do 3 damage to it. It's only when it attacks though, which is fine. Just fine. And then I'd leave the porcupine pufferfish right here. And I wouldn't grapple again. I would kind of save that. And then that's what I would do with that. So next turn, you'd probably take some damage because they'd either attack you with their avatar, or they probably wouldn't. They probably wouldn't because they'd be losing more than you. They would definitely cast something that'd probably get rid of the polar bears. But let's say that doesn't happen. It's your next turn. Aquamarine Core. Okay. So it doesn't, it helps with mana. Go ahead and cast it. Then you could probably attack here again with the polar bears if they're still alive. You could tap the battle mage, play another land or a site, and you could maybe even grapple shot again into their avatar if you really wanted to, or whatever is within this area. So yeah, the deck has some drawbacks. There's advantages, but now I'll go ahead and get an ideal hand from the deck just to show you what like a nice hand would look like. So now I'll just leave this set up like this and look for the good stuff here. So blink, maybe then yeah, we could leave a porcupine pufferfish there. So an ideal hand, you would want to have like a spell you can cast. Excuse me, a spell you can cast, maybe a porcupine pufferfish or polar bears, but specifically the Spiralage. On this could either be like a wizard, an apprentice wizard. That's also good too, because then you get a nice draw. But yeah, the Spiralage here, because then you already have a nice sized creature. So that's kind of, and they're most likely going to have like a 1/1 or a 2 power creature, and so attacking really wouldn't benefit, even if you defended, because your creature wouldn't die. And then you could also even defend with this porcupine pufferfish if their creature is bigger, because you're going to be casting this on your initial turn if you get it. So that's the advantage to that. So you get to save the Spiralage, and they probably wouldn't even attack because you would defend, most likely. It would be a loss on their turn, in their respect. So that's that. So yeah, this is the deck I've made. This is not the deck that I want to make though. The deck that I want to make is Earth and Air. So I just used cards that I had to make this deck, and because I really wanted to make a deck video, a deck tech video, or just a deck idea video, and get it on out there for people to watch, so you can see what like I guess a constructed deck looks like. I'm pretty sure there's better better decks out there, but of course, the more cards I get, the better decks I can possibly make, since it'll expand the amount of my collection. I do have 3 more boxes on the way. Those will be it for a very long while. Since I don't really want to keep, getting more, I'd rather just trade, find people to trade with. Since that's also a reason why I got into this game, because I want to trade. I want to see what that experience is like trading. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about this video. Any thoughts on this deck? What you guys would do better with it? What you would change about it? Or if it's good how it is. Thank you for watching and have an awesome day.